early on, I did have a back injury that was pretty severe from gardening. And I had to take almost an entire season off. So the huge lesson there is obviously don't overexert yourself in training and don't overexert yourself outside of training. Is really find that balance. And especially in recovery of an injury is, again, finding that balance of not overtraining and not coming back too fast, too hard. And I think I really learned that lesson, and it comes with me every day. So I train hard. I spend a lot of time strength and conditioning, mental game, and on the field, but I have to take rest. So the rest days are hard. I feel like I'm not making progress, but I know that those days are just as important as the days in the gym or on the range. So archery's been at the back of the mind for a long time. I tested it at a Renaissance fair once when I was younger. We tried it at camp at school, but I wasn't aware of clubs or how to get started in it until recently. So thankfully I was able to really get in and jump in really fast and commit to it. But it's been really difficult, almost being thrust into high performance with very little experience. So there's a lot of things I've really had to sort of take a step back and just be aware of what's going on and thinking about it, working with mental performance coaches and thinking about all the things that I would normally pick up over a longer career. But I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been a joy, and I think I really get a lot from the intensity and the training, the long days. It's really satisfying.
I haven't done much else in my life that's been similar to the focus. I think that we all kind of start to develop in training and in competition. The intensity of experience of competition is very addicting, and there is such a diversity, I think, of backgrounds and ages and locations that everybody is from within archery, perhaps more so than a lot of other sports. So it's exciting to see that so much is possible. Essentially. Yeah,
it's fantastic, and I've only been around a short time in the sport, but from what I've seen, it's phenomenal. Like I can't imagine any other sport where you can have people with missing limbs competing just as well as anyone else. Like young kids, adults, seniors, masters categories. Really, like everybody has just as much chances competing with each other, and it's fantastic to have that diversity and that camaraderie. Really, like it's for everybody.
Yeah. Now, one of the great things about archery is the difference in ages. You know, the range of ages that can represent their country. So here we've got a 21-year-old in the Brazilian up against 42-year-old Stephanie Barrett of Canada. First, the 2018 Canadian champion. Done most of her archery indoors over the winter months.
It's definitely a fine balance between how hard to push yourself and in what ways.
Yeah.
I think it's easy for everybody, or we got a lot of intense personalities, perhaps a lot of driven individuals who don't want to have any regrets about how they train, how they work, but oftentimes working too hard can be maybe even more devastating sometimes than not doing that.
Yeah, really just being aware of your body and how you're feeling and not forcing it. It's just really allowing yourself those moments to rest and recover, as difficult as they are, and you feel like you're not, you need to do something, you need to be making progress, but reframing that and understanding that rest is progress, rest is part of training. And I think a lot of people burn out or get injuries so quickly because they're training so hard. They might be fantastic, but it doesn't last as long. So, if you take care of yourself, it'll go a long way.
I like that. I think that's definitely a good, very succinct piece of advice as far as for a lot of younger archers, as well as maybe anybody in general. One of the things, again, we ask a lot of our athletes is over all these years of training and ups and downs and what they're going through, what is it that kind of keeps motivating them, or something that they personally get out of the experience that keeps them so invested?
Yeah. Archery it's an interesting thing. There's such ability for improvement just constantly. You can be the best in the world and still not be happy. There's so much detail that you can constantly refine and tweak. And I think there's definitely, like, I don't know, maybe a zen-ness to it, or just working that process for yourself, but it easily branches out into a team environment where you can really succeed as a team and train as a team, build that team, but individually as well, and there's always that room for improvement. But I mean, Olympics, that gold medal, it's always hanging there. But the drive for that it's almost an addiction, but also just building the sport, building the community, and keeping the sport going. Like for me, that's one thing that keeps me going, is just sort of being a role model, being a mentor, helping out the development group at home, and really just, you know, keeping the sport going.
Just to get ourselves back into this, but what a start from the Canadian pair. Pete's there.
Yeah, focusing on results as a sole metric of gauging progress or gauging skill is a little misleading, or doesn't really cover the full story. And if we focus a little bit more on the process and development, even just attitude towards training, attitude towards teammates, and really build up a family, a community, rather than just I shot whatever score. Obviously the score is what matters in the end, but I think really having those support structures in place and being able to rely on that, especially in the hard times, definitely feeds into performance and scores.
I think there's definitely a perhaps a seductive element of archery about the scoring, and how clear it is, and even as archers we like that immediate feedback of what's happening. However, we recognize that there's also this whole other world that exists under or in parallel with the results on the target that feeds into that. And I think we're not necessarily trying to say that we don't like the scoring, or we don't like that accuracy and that focus and consistency, but we definitely, I think as athletes, and wished other people also appreciated that there's this give and take, this interchange between all this entire other world of experience that is tied to that score.
Yeah, exactly. Having that support structure, the staff, the family, the friends, and then the score just becomes a result of that process. Sort of takes care of itself.
Yeah, I like it. Definitely, I think we've had a lot of good advice from people this week, and suggestions that I hope that a lot of our viewers and pro staff and customers also kind of are able to take away from this as a perhaps holistic but just healthier experience of what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, if you focus solely on the outcome, you're gonna get down on yourself. You're gonna have a hard time, and it's gonna be really hard to come back from those days. And without that community, that support structure in place, or even just without the ability to reframe the positives of those difficult days, it's really hard to come back from.